All right, we're back on the next week. I think where I left it, I think there were some synthetics tests that I wanted to write. Let me pull up Insomnia. Insomnia. I wanted to write some of these tests, and then I also wanted to start on the front end. So yeah, I'll do really quick and easy little stats. Let's see, create sites, get sites. I had these after site by missing ID. For missing site. No, that already would have happened. Okay, I guess it'll just be something similar to this. So after you retrieve the site by ID, I want to create statistics, right? That's what that's doing. Add stats. This is a post. Sites endpoints. Where is it? Wait. No. Add to stats is 188. There we go. Site ID, and then I need stats endpoint. And that needs to be somewhere up here. It's just /stats. Alright. And I think it was like 188 is where I was. There's the post, and then I need to add data to it. I think I had data somewhere. There we go, like that. That's what it's going to look like. And this is going to be page view /hello world. For today. And what is today in this? I think I had code in here somewhere for like today, date, yeah, there we go. Let's just call this today. Move the keyboard over. So okay, it shouldn't be called get size. It should be called like add stats. Sure. And then what? I need to change get sites to add stats. No. Yes. Yeah, so we have add stats, and then status 200. No, it should be a 202. Post stats. Let me just change all these real quick. it shouldn't be anything, right? Yeah, it should just be a 2 of 2. And that's it. But I will take this and read stats from it. Oops. Leave it there. Okay. I'm going to read my stats. And this one is a get. We had today. Yeah, maybe that should be like at the top. Let's put that there. Did I not sleep anything? I'll definitely need sleep. How did I do it in the calendar API? Because I had sleeps in here. That's it. Start here. Okay, so we let it read a stat, and then we need to get it. Right, it's the same thing as posting it, it's just getting it. Okay. And then there are query parameters, but if I leave these off, then it will default to today and today only. So that's what I'll do. And it's a 200. Yeah, let me change. Oops, I need to do this. Add stats to read stats. Excuse me. Alright. I need a 200, and then in the data, I need today. I need that to exist. Get does not include today in the data. Right, so I need to make sure that today exists, and then if today exists, I will look at today dot page view, and I have hello world there. And since these tests run a lot, and this is kind of like state, it's hard to test state. So what I'm thinking is, instead of, I don't know, doing anything wild, what I should do, does not include stats. I'll just do like a kind of like a less than equal to type situation, but I can't actually check the actual number. Right, so this will have a, what is it? Slash hello world. Right, so there's slash hello world, and I want this to just be greater than or equal to 1, because I just made it. But I don't want, right, let's say I bump this up to, actually, let me change this to, let's say I bumped the frequency of this up to like 5 times a day. I can't just say it's 1 every time, and I don't want to keep track of how many times this is run. So I'm just going to say it's greater than or equal to 1. And if there are other stats in that return object, I'm not going to care as long as my thing is incremented by 1 every time my statistic was collected. And let's see. I will just log the data. I think that could be helpful. I don't know why it does that. Like, do the command for a new line above and it like adds it in. I don't know. Let's see. Let's say read stats. Payload. Oops. There we go. And I think that I only want to deploy pigeon. Actually, I don't think I even need to do that, right? I can synth it, but then I'll just paste all this into the lambda function, which I can pull out of here. That's log retention. Need that one. Add the code in, run a test, and make sure that it all works without having to actually deploy anything. And then I'll just deploy once. I'm sure I'll deploy again today at some point. So this is what it looks like, and then what I did was I just want to cat it since source index. I added in from delete site. Yeah, let's do that. So from delete site, there it is. I changed everything above that. Oh, and then yeah, I also added those things up here. So these guys become uncommented, and I have sites. Oops. This becomes stats endpoint. Is it not about anything? Today, yeah. What was today? Sure, that'll work. Not about anything else? Nope. Looks okay. Let's deploy it. We'll test it. And this already has all the environment variables and stuff that are used, so I don't have to go back through and do that myself. And then the test should tell me whether or not this will actually work. I left in all that junk. So this one's correct. This one is not because I left a ton of stuff in here that I didn't need to. So it's pretty much just the add stats. I forget how do you do this in? I do 202, 221 D. Aha, there it is. Much more efficient. So it only has one assertion. Deploy that, and then, oops. Can I cancel that? We'll see. If it gets upset, then we know why. Looks like it passed, so cool. So I know that works now. So that can, in fact, be deployed. And what was the... Yeah, there's a new CDK thing. So I'll start installing that. And those were more or less the tests that I wanted to get written. So now I need to do the website stuff. So all of this in the top level, and I'm gonna explain this in the README. Everything in the top level so far is API based stuff. So but I need to also add in, and I want to keep track of which folders are going to be, because this is going to be a monolithic repo, but not necessarily a monolithic system or architecture. So I need to put that stuff in the README. So let's see, we have config, and then we have all the design, and the design has the features, authentication, authorization, data layer, data model, S3 folder design, which I haven't implemented yet. Then we have the API layer. Then we have the presentation layer and the email snapshot. Code for the presentation layer is held in or contained in the, I don't know what to call it, folder name for HTML files. I think HTTP is like a common place to put them, or www. I could call it site. Let's see, actually. I am curious if there's already a construct for deploying a static site. I'm surprised there's not. Let's see. There probably is somewhere. What is this? Just a bucket and then source path. Okay. So maybe I'll just call it the source path like site. So it'll all be in a site folder. Oh. S3 deployment is what it's called. Ah, okay. Bucket deployment. Populates an S3 bucket constitutes a zip file from other S3 buckets or from local. With web hosting enabled, populates it from a local directory. They will be archived and uploaded. So if I do an S3 asset, will that zip it for me? I think it will. I'm guessing it will. Maybe it doesn't. This one looks like it might. Okay, what is it called? svdeploy.source. Bucket deployment source. asset bucket data JSON. Local asset. I would imagine it's that. And then asset options does what? Bundling options. Okay, I bet. And it's just like, I'm guessing, defaults it to zip. Command. Oh no, it's only for Docker. Yeah, I think it's just, I can just use the S3 assets. I think that's probably fine. Follow symlinks. I forget what the symlink is that I have for the config. Um, but I'm guessing it's handled because maybe it's not a symlink, maybe it's just a hard link, and that's why. Okay, so I have an answer for, where am I? The slash site folder. This is in the source, async source. That's where those are. So I need a directory called site. And site will be, will have my index. Oh boy, now we're actually getting into, or I will be able to get into this stuff. So I might just try to do a very, very basic, like a hello world web page. I don't even know how to do. Normally my stuff is with. So not just like a basic. So, oh, okay. Yeah, that looks correct. Yeah, I knew there was like there were a couple tags that were necessary, but I am no. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, there we go. I'm no HTML expert, so one second. Hello? Hello? Yep. That's good. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yep. Yeah. Now you know. She should have given a bigger disclaimer. That was her fault. Alrighty. Sounds good. What? Oh, thank you. You too. Alright. I'll see you soon. Bye. Alright. So for the front end stuff, for the I will need there it is. I'll need an S3 bucket and a CloudFront distribution. Um, so I'm going to go ahead. It's going to look something similar to this. I'll also need apparently S3 assets to um, don't need that. I probably don't need any of those. At least not yet. Um, Let me give. I don't think I need. I don't think there's anything that I need from props. Yeah, so now we have I do site analytics, site bucket. We'll call this like main bucket, I guess. Public read access is true. I will also version it. I version everything. Lifecycle rules. Non-current version expires in 90 days. I think that's fine. I don't want to save it. Allowed origins. Oh, that's why I had that. Well, I don't know if I want to like put it behind something. Let's see. I'll comment that out for now. And then, um, put, oh, oh, I see. Well, this is probably better. Well, because I need to enable web hosting, I think. I don't think you can just do it. I think you have to enable web hosting somehow. Um, Yeah, I've never done this one, so this is going to be all new for me too. Website error document. Ah, so that enables it. Define redirect is applied in that. Okay. Alright, so it sounds like I need this. This might be a better with cores already on it. I'll just keep this for now. For now, it's just going to be whatever. I guess allowed headers or whatever. Let me grab line 18. Put it there, and then we'll just delete this. Lifecycle rules, I'm fine with that. And then this web hosting. Oops. It is called website index document, and this is index. I don't imagine that'll change. And then I'll do website error document. I'll call that 404. Seems to be what they are suggesting is like a default, a good default. There's a way to, yeah, what do you write as 404.html? Is that how you do it? No? Shoot. There's a way to save as. Vim save as. Oh, it's a space. So let's just do 404, not found. Sorry. And I want to write it as 404.html. Oops. What? But it doesn't actually... Oh, I bet I know why. I bet it's in here. Yeah, that's why. Delete that. How do you delete? Is it D? Yeah, there we go. And then this one I just want to rename. Put that in site. There we go. And now site has its 404. Okay. I don't want to sing that. Alright. So that enables web hosting. I don't know what the redirects are about. So I'll leave those for now. I don't want that. Main bucket. Or what did... I should keep my naming more consistent. Ooh, that's not good. No, this is... What's the table called? Was it primary? It was called primary. So let me change main to primary. Okay. I don't want that. Oh wait, what was it called? I called it dist. Oh. Default behavior origin is primary bucket. And I don't want to call this Papyrus admin API bucket stack. I want to call this site analytics front end stack. There's that. Now that I've done it, I'm not too sure I like that this one's just called stack, this one's table stack. So maybe I'll rename this as just tables. Ooh, that's not right. Just tables. And this one as API. And now that I've done that, where's stack? There it is. Oh. Is that the API? Oh. Oh, it's just export class. Oh, okay. Site Analytics API, and then tables. Site Analytics tables. Actually, let me make sure. Yeah, that was also export class, so then I want this to be. Why did I don't know. Whatever. And then pigeon stack will just be called pigeon. Yeah, why do they have to be site analytics tables? I'll just call it tables. And this is, I'll leave that as API. And maybe that is front end. Whoops. And now I have a lot to change in here. Because none of these have stack on them anymore. The API, and that was just pigeon. And I already forgot what I named the files. Tables is now just tables. Site Analytics Stack is now API, and Pigeon is Pigeon. And then this one is going to be front end, Site Analytics front end. And I think we're good on that. But now I need to change this to just tables, this to API. Whoops. And I imagine there's pigeon is just going to be pigeon. Okay. Oh boy. Now up here we want a new front end with app, and we're going to call it site analytics front end dev. And then we're going to props. But I probably need to add blank props in that case. I don't know. Let's see if it'll sync. Oh. Because I called it pigeon, but it's also called pigeon. So I overwrote it. All those look like the same thing. Okay, yeah, it's just problems with pigeon. So I can't call this pigeon, so what do I call it? Monitor. I guess. Not as cool, but guess I'll do that too. So in here I need to change this from pigeon to monitor. At the bottom here. There's that to monitor. Sure. Yeah, let's make sure that actually synthesizes. I don't know if there's an easy way to say that, but don't need that anymore. So there are a couple pages that I know I'm gonna have to. Oh, cool. Those ones would stay the same. What were my CloudFormation stacks called? Let's see. We have tables dev, that stays the same. API dev, that stays the same. Pigeon dev is now different. So this I will just go ahead and delete. Yeah, because the stack name is going to change. So I want to deploy that, and I guess I'll deploy that. Do I care? Yeah, I might as well. I changed it. Let's make sure it works. I'm interested about the front end stuff. I don't know if it's actually going to work, but what? Yeah. Is that for? Okay. Looks like it did publish my asset already. Cool. This might be much easier than I thought it would be. Oh, the name isn't right. I guess quit. I don't know where I am. Oh. Well, it'll create, and then I'll be able to at least test the URL, and then then I'll know that the stack works. Also, if you are one of the ones who commented while I was streaming and I didn't answer you, I apologize. I didn't think many people would be watching this, especially this early on, so I wasn't paying attention to the comments. My fault. Let's see. That distribution takes a long time to make. That's what it's working on, right? I guess that kind of makes sense. There's probably a lot of stuff that they actually have to do behind the scenes for a CloudFront distribution. So I guess I can probably talk about this a little bit more while it's going through, like how the distribution works and everything, or how this stack actually this stack actually works. So there's an S3 bucket. That's the main. That's how the HTML files are stored. And the way that S3 works, I guess this is only for people who don't know S3. If you know about this, I'm sorry. It's probably going to be repetitive for you. But S3 is just file storage. That's all it is. And when you really think about it, when you get to the core of it, a web server is just a file server. um, it could be thought of. At least the input is a request for a certain web page, which is just an HTML file, CSS files, JavaScript files, and a server's output, a web server's output, is just it's just those files. So if you have like server side rendering or whatever, if you use like Ruby on Rails or other select frameworks, then there's stuff that goes on behind the scenes that actually dynamically generates or creates those HTML files and then sends them off to the front end to the user to be rendered in the browser. If you're doing a static site, you really don't need all that if you're not querying a database for whatever it is that you're, or if you're using a spa, right? Like a modern spa, like a React. What React does is, from my understanding, this is my understanding. I'm no front end dev. I barely do this, but I have an understanding, I believe, of what's actually happening. With, let's say, React, what it's doing is um, sending that pretty much a blank HTML file to the front end, and then all of your API calls, all of the state changes, whatever, those are phoning home. They're going to an API to get the data to then populate itself. So the change was from it was from like time to read to time to draw. So in the old, I say old, everything's all honestly fairly new in computing, but what used to be done with web apps was a request was made, the server did everything it needed to do, generated a static HTML page or generated a static page, sent that to the user, and there was not as much interactivity as today's heavy JavaScript frameworks allow. So, like, for instance, React, because most people know React, most people use React. React is heavy, and what React does is give an original page, and then it kind of suggests that anything that is dynamic should then be grabbed. So the user gets some sort of blank like skeleton, and then the meat of the skeleton is filled in by API calls that are done later. So it looks quick, right? Like you get a page up real quick, but then there's always like a flashing or a spinning circle or something like that. And it's going to the back end with API calls, gathering information that it needs to populate itself, and then or hydrate is the word, and then it'll hydrate its page. So that's what happens. I don't want to do that. I don't think, especially for something like this, there's only really one page that I can think of that would really need to do that, and that would be the statistics, like actually looking at the statistics. But I think, I may be wrong, I may have to pivot, but I think I can do all of that with just static HTML pages and a little bit of help from Alpine.js. That's my hope. I've never used Alpine. It seems cool. I like the idea of not having a bloated framework. If I can just make an API call and update the front end with a little bit of JavaScript, I don't need a huge framework to do that, then that's what I want to do. Now that all that's cleared up, we can get back to the infrastructure and why I designed it this way. This isn't anything crazy. The S3 bucket is just serving those static HTML files. Those static HTML files will have JavaScript embedded in them that says go out to the API that I just wrote, specifically to the get statistics API with whatever time that the user wants to see, 7 days, like a week, a month, 1 day, like current day stats, whatever. Get those stats and then draw them on a graph. I think that's the only real crazy stuff I'm going to have to do with JavaScript. The rest of it is pretty much just, right, it's sign in, sign up, reset. It's like these generic things. The profile and the graphing stuff, that's where I don't know how that's going to work because I've never used Alpine. But either way, I think I can still make them normal HTML pages, and then just populate it. Do what I was talking about for React, but without React. Without React. I don't think I need all that React offers. So it's not that big of a web app. So the S3 bucket is just saying it's public, it's versioned. I put versioning on all my stuff just in case I override it or I delete it and don't want to bring it back. It's just a safety thing that I do for everything. Cores, if you don't know cores, get ready because it's not fun. I'm not claiming that I'm a cores genius or that I'm doing this correctly, but cores is cross-origin request, I think. So it's just saying if it's not from, right, allowed methods, allowed origins, it's saying from what website can you access this distribution or this bucket. Allowed headers, which is, so if when I put a custom URL in front of this, I'm going to have to add it to the allowed origins. Allowed headers is what headers are allowed to come in on a request. Lifecycle rules goes kind of hand in hand with the versioning. So I'm saying I do want lifecycle rules on. This specific rule in this object is on if it's a non-current version that's older than 30 days, just delete it. It means that, I didn't want to bring that version back and just delete it. And then I guess this is to enable web hosting. You have an index and a 404. I guess you don't need a 404, but you need the index HTML file. You need to point it out. And then a distribution, that's CloudFront is a CDN, which is a content delivery network, which means that those files, if you think about it, a file is just a big, if you're used to APIs, I came from an API-based world and background, getting into the front-end stuff. The front-end stuff was actually what really started all the web, but and then JSON came along later, but something's bothering me over here. Where am I? Okay. Right here, yeah. CDN takes those files, pushes them to the edge, and caches them. So that means if someone, CloudFront is all over the world. So I'm in Texas. Let's say I try to retrieve this file. It's going to retrieve it from my bucket, which will be in US East 1 in Virginia. And let's just say that there's a CDN node, like a CloudFront node in Texas. I will get it. Then let's say someone from Japan also requests the same file. It'll go to US East 1, retrieve that file, but then cache it in Japan. So if someone else from Japan then tries to get that same file, that same HTML file, it'll be that much quicker for them because it's already cached in Japan. Right? I guess I didn't need to talk about Texas, but Japan. It's cached there. They don't need to go back to US East 1. So that caching really speeds up the website, and it also saves money because there's less stuff moving as far as it needs to. So less stuff's moving around, it's cached. CloudFront has really good rates as well. I think it would probably be argued that, what's it called? Cloudflare is potentially cheaper. I just don't want to deal with setting up Cloudflare. So that's why it's taking so long. I had to redeploy the APIs. So, now that that's done, let's go in here. Oh, it didn't output anything. My S3 bucket. Let's go to CloudFront. CloudFront. Oops. So, it's this one. And then I should have a URL. I'm not claiming this is the best way to get this, but that would be the URL. 404 is not found. Key index specified key does not exist. Okay, well, there might be something wrong with the bucket then, if I keep getting 404s. and the 404 page won't even load. So let's look in here at, oh, there are no objects. Oh, did I not put, oh, because I didn't make the assets. Well, that's fine because I don't want this anyway. It was named incorrectly. So, let's see, how do I do assets? How do I add an asset to an S3 bucket? Is it in S3? Is there a method that's like add asset? Add object? Add object, create a notification. From, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it has to be in deployment. Maybe I do have to do this. Bucket deployment, destination bucket, and sources. Yeah, I probably need to just do this. Not that that's difficult or anything. So let's paste that in. There we go. I need S3 deploy. I do capital. I do that. And then I do this. Paste it in. So that deploy. Is it deploy or deployment? I think it's deployment. There we go. Back down here, we have S3 deploy source asset path join. This with site. Destination bucket is primary bucket. And this is called site analytics. Site deployment. Sure. Right? That's what it was called, wasn't it? It is called site. Okay. See if that synths. And on my phone, I will confirm my subscription to the Pigeon topic. Okay. Have a problem with path. Actually, up here. Is that how you do it? I don't normally use this syntax for imports, so cannot find asset. That's fine. I was kind of expecting that. How did I do that in Core API? Root source directory. It was just site. I don't know. Oh, it was in lib. Well, let's see. I did it for this guy. So how did I? It's just from asset async source. So yeah, that might work. Aha, I did. Followed by more errors. Argument of type sources not assignable to parameter of type bucket deployment props. Destination bucket is missing. Was it not? Okay, so I think it was fine on that. I don't know what it's upset about here because it should have. It was there. Cannot find name. Was it a name? It needs a name. What? Yeah, it's an iBucket. What is its problem? Oh, I had an extra parentheses in there. That's why. I would like to at least get the index page deployed. I think that would be not a bad start. Let's make sure it is analytics this time. Oops. And it's nice that it's completely like independent. I don't have anything sitting on it. Yeah, I wonder if it doesn't matter because I wouldn't change one without the other, but I wonder if it would be better practice to have the DynamoDB tables inside of the API stack. So then each one of these could be deployed independently. It would probably be better that way. But I mean, the monitor can be deployed independently, but it does rely on having that API URL. So it is and it isn't. So we'll wait for this, and then hopefully that'll be it. So yeah, the Alpine thing, and to be fair, I don't really know how it's gonna work with like retrieving the stats and stuff. Because I guess I'm stuck in kind of, I didn't use pure React, I used Next.js, but I am kind of stuck in a React world, like where are my life cycles and whatnot. But I guess you can just make the call in like in the after the page loads, right? So at the bottom of the page have, well, at the top I would have the I guess the Alpine, right? I have this, and then at the bottom of the page I could have some JavaScript that makes a call to the API to get my stats, and just have like a global data variable as like state, and use some Alpine to test it out. Some Alpine to, like, if it exists, then populate this graph. If not, then don't. Ah. Yeah, I'm sure that 4, where's X4? Yeah. That could be part of it. But I also need to figure out, I think D3 is like a real popular, I think everything's built on D3. But, yeah. Alright. I can just do HTML charts, but no chart. Yeah, I think you might need to have JavaScript to actually. Yeah. I think I looked at chart.js at one point. So a simple line graph. Okay, so it just has to be an element. And then we have the chart. So you have a canvas, an ID, and then you get that canvas and then create a chart. That seems wildly easy. So I like that. Yeah, I remember looking at this at one point. Oh, there's an installation page. I'll do it from CDN probably. Yeah, probably that. So you need a canvas. You need to include that in the page. Now we can create a chart, add a script to our page. What is this? Why is that in its own script? Ah, whatever. Whatever. Fig. It's all that stuff. And that creates the chart. Render it using our configuration. Chart. I like that better. How can you update it if you update? Right, because I can do this, but okay, so this data is what I'll probably need. Yeah, I guess it'll all just depend on what you're trying to look at. Yeah, that's what it's gonna depend on. Setup. I think it'll be fairly easy though. I'm kind of hopeful that it'll be fairly easy. And then yeah, I need to figure out. Which. This one. Origins. Is there like an easier way to get the URL? Oh, here we go. Domain name. Hey, there it is. There's the hello world. That's what I was looking for. What if I do like that? Then I get the 404. Sweet. Okay. I'm happy with that. I have no problem with that. And I think we're good to go. So that's the front end. I will have to experiment quite a bit with the chart. I think this is probably what I'm going to use. I think this seems like maybe the most promising. So let me save this in the README while I have it handy. Posted in S3 through CloudFront using basic HTML, CSS, and Alpine.js to help with interactivity. Charts for the site statistics will be handled using chart.js. Oops. There we go. So I am using some some JavaScript. I don't know if there's a way to get around it with the chart. Well, there would be, but I don't think I want to do it. It'd probably be a lot of overhead. So there's a hair in my mouth. I should probably figure out what types of graphs. Maybe, actually, overall page views graph and graphs graph per statistic different lines for the, I don't know, top 10 values. So this one for sure. And then a graph per statistic, right? So you can have like page view or I don't know, whatever other events someone would want. And then I need a graph per statistic with different lines for the top 10. Right, so what I'm thinking of, right, this one I had page view 1, 2, 3, 4, and it had hello world. Like if you want to track that over a week, what are you going to look for? So maybe I could have like a drop down with all of the different statistics that are there in a given time period, and then you could only graph like one value per graph. That's possible. That would be an easier way to do it. Right, so this one in particular, right? I have page view. I can look at all the pages that were looked at, but what if I want like to see multiple pages within the same time period? Maybe I'll just have like something to choose the top 3 or something like that. I don't know. I think the overall one is the main. That's the main thing. And if anything, I can just do like a table for the other things. So, yeah, the charting will be. The charting will be interesting. So, are there any other to-dos in here? No. That's good. All right. Well, there you go. Got some tests written, got the front end done, and I think I'll just kind of go through these one by one. I have the index page. I'll put a link to a sign-in page, and then we'll write out the sign-in page, what all that looks like, and then sign up. Well, I guess I'll have to sign up first, reset password. So those just kind of like generic ones, and then I'll move on to these other guys, these last two. I'll probably just go through those in order. So yeah, I'll start with the sign up page in the next stream, I guess. But there were some tests we added to the pigeon tests, and we got the front end up and available, even though there's nothing really there. So thanks for watching. Like I say in just about all of these, if you're interested in using any of this, please feel free. I try to push it after I stream, so it's up to date. If you need help setting it up, also let me know. I'd be more than happy to help anyone set it up. And yeah, stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching.